One of those things where you just focus all of your attention on talking, narrating, and then the simple thing like clicking a card just eludes you. I actually do like this opening hand. It doesn't look strong, but the Haze Scythe is pretty nice, and I get one scry. It's a good card. So I could have just cast this turn 2. The problem being, yeah. If I want to Pestilent Haze, it kills off my own guy. If he doesn't grab Haze, I'm probably just casting Haze. Although it is a really good card against black-white. But now that he knows I have it, he's always going to play around it. It's probably correct for him to grab Pestilent Haze to protect the 1/2. Neither of these cards affect his board, or are they relevant this early? But tell me. Hope that's not too loud. Yeah, so it grabs the Haze, which removes the interaction from my hand. If I get to 6 mana, this could be really good. I like how easy they make equipment in this in this interface. Indulging Patrician is amazing. Just an amazing card. And I could straight up lose to that. Equipped creature gets +1 for each soul counter. When equipped creature dies, put a soul counter on Scythe. So the reason last game I lost a creature, because I equipped while damage was still on on the creature, and it brought it below. It brought it to 0 life. So that's something to keep an eye out for. If a creature received combat damage, and then you change equipment around, they can still die from that combat damage. So they have the combo. Whenever they gain life, opponent loses that much life with Patrician. Pretty nasty. So at least have a blocker on the ground now. It's going to be really hard to win this game. He just has super, super strong cards. And that counter brought the 1/4 at a range of dying to my blocker. So I'm going to lose 2 life to the to Veto Thorn the Dusk Rose. But Patrician is not pinging me yet. He has to gain 3 life a turn to do that. If I had blue mana, I could turn off one of these cards. Yeah, this is like absolutely ideal. Or a land this turn. Would have been really sweet. So, do the only thing I can do. I mean, if I bait out a block, yeah. Like, I could have attacked in with the Dryad to try to let it die. With the Scythe to get a counter and put this in range of killing one of his flyers. But that's a really terrible play in terms of value. I probably just end up losing more than I gain. There's my land. Enables a Pteranodon so I can attack in and kind of keep his life total in check. The activation... That sucks. The activation on Dusk Rose is a win con by itself. It gives everything he controls lifelink. So he can deal 2, 4, 5, 7 damage. 8 damage. So he could have dealt 7 damage on attack through lifelink, and then dealt 3 damage second main phase. Yep. I'm just gonna die. So I get burned by 3. Burned 4-3 on his end step. And yeah, I just can't compete with that sort of card quality. Boom. That's awesome. That's like the draft dream. When you pull Veto and the Indulging Patrician. It's really awesome. Easy first 2 wins. Misplay led to loss in the 3rd game. And 4th game lost to quite a powerful deck. Concurrent viewers. Nice opening hand. Get my Pteranodon down. And turn 3 is good time to Temple. Black-red. Already putting me on a clock. Leave that on top. Ooh, I kept thinking I had a black in play, but I did not. Okay, so Dryad is still good. I wanted the scythe to activate Pteranodon. Oh, double Sanctum. So I really have to put on the pressure now. Which this does. So he's burning me for 2, gaining 2 life every turn. He can spend 1, discard a land, and deal 2 damage to any target. What a crazy deck. Forcing double Shrine. Let's see if it works. Okay, that was a mistake. I could have pumped this 1 more time. He's gonna block kill it now. But I do get a card draw. So that was kind of my rationale for attacking, was that I get a card out of this. But it would have been better just to pump my guy at a range. Not really worth drawing a card. Applying a little bit too hastily. The 3rd draft this afternoon. Not quite as fresh as I would like to be. I'm just so not a fan of this design. Like, they get powerful the more of them you have, and so the way they balance that is by making them legendary, so you can only have 1, and then making their effects like really underwhelming. I will attack in here. If he double blocks, I draw and get a counter on my scythe. And I can discard his last 2 cards. Keep a blocker open. Chrome Replicator. What a deck. So 3/6 by playing a land, I can put down Sabertooth and Pride Malkin. It's going to be hard to win this race. Dealing 2 a turn really hurts, and I die to the swing back pretty soon. I have to double block that. The combat trick is going to really hurt. Oh yeah, so he discards a card, pings off my dude. That's what I was missing. Takes the kill with the tiger. Freebooter doesn't really help. I can swing in for lethal and force at least 1 block. But then I'm hurting on the swing back. Let's throw the equipment on here. So we can kill off my tiger with the same trick. Chooses not to. Who do I pump here? Swing for lethal again, force a block. Is he gonna kill off the Sabertooth? Yep. Pretty good use of his land. I can attack for lethal again. Oh my god, this guy. You hurt me. You hurt my soul. And I'm dead next turn. I can gain 1 life off this. So he hits me for 3. I gain 1 life, I go to 4. He can burn me for 1. Actually, I have a blocker on the ground. That helps a lot. The spider is saving me here. So he can burn me for 1 with Sanctum. Target creature, planeswalker. Okay, so it can't hit face. Has to hit a creature or a planeswalker. If he attacks, I can block kill with the snare spinner. And whatever blocks a creature with flying. So if I attack in with both and he blocks here, he loses. He gains 1, goes to 4 and dies. So yeah, he's at 1 life after this turn. I take another 2 from him. I'm at 1 life. And then hopefully I kill him. Okay, that should be it. Please tell me I have it. Please. Okay. Close game. Really had to fight for that one. Again, not a perfect game. Made 1 mistake on attacks. Without properly reading how the shrine worked. Getting up there, see if I can take this to 4 wins. It is a very powerful deck. Little light on interaction. Card quality is there, and the consistency of the lands are there. Having double temples in a 3-color deck makes a world of difference. Absolutely does. If you have more than 5 lands, or fewer than 2, consider mulliganing. Why do you need me, man? These tooltips. You're going to be a pro player in no time. Just by reading the game. Amazing. Hallelujah. Sofo King. Opponent goes first. Opening hand has Garrick. Garrick, who probably dies. He does create a 3/3 the turn I play him, but it's unlikely he survives after that. I mean, 3-mana 3/3 and turn 4 play. I think it has to do. I have 2 of the strongest cards in my deck in hand. Not having Troodon is pretty painful. 1 filter. But if Garrick is allowed to live, that guy can win games. Not against Flyers, though. So Troodon was a clutch draw. Absolutely clutch. If he doesn't play a card here, I can expect probably a swift response. Drawing into any of my... Ooh. Too bad I don't have a black. That's a really good card against blue-white. No Lofty Denial. He's got something. You do play into Swift Response. Like, if he uses a kill spell on my 2-drop, I should be happy about that outcome. Nothing. So, just pause the game a lot. The problem playing with playing Garrick next turn is he probably dies if I minus him. He goes to 2 loyalty. It is a hell of a lot of pressure if I plus him and I swing in for 9 next turn. He's going to capture Sphere, so that's his whole turn. That's pretty sweet. And this is going to be really hard for him to deal with. So he deals 1 a turn. I don't want to bring my guy down to 2. This is an amazing amount of pressure. Pumping a guy by 3 every turn. Next turn I can drop Twin Blade, which is sweet. They didn't really print Planeswalker interaction in the set, because that's what WotC hates to do. They hate interaction with infinite value. So swings in for 1, 4 loyalty. If I minus him, he goes to 2, probably dies. I'm really quickly going to force blocks by attacking. If I get a good draw with Kite Sail Freebooter, it might be better just to protect Garrick. Interesting. So either drop Twin Blade, which is really aggressive, or I take a card out of my opponent's hand and start pumping my guy. And I am worried about what my opponent could have. This game is like pretty much won if I can stop my opponent from interacting. Sticky tap 2 guys. What? What would you possibly choose? Okay. Not a good card to draft. So I can create a 3/3, then I have 2 loyalty guy. And I think I would rather just pump something and have a blocker.
Out of our way.
So happy to block, take 2 damage.
Just go away.
So these are both end step triggers.
Dare you to stop this?
And it's going to be pretty hard for him to not die next turn. Pretty hard. All right. Good stuff. Garrick got his moment in the sun. Always really liked Garrick as a part of the lore. Pretty bad dude. Hell yeah. Taking it to 4 wins, which is basically breaking even. Now we have a shot at making a profit. Sergeant Deadly. I will be cautious. So, really good opening hand. It's debatable whether I want a Freebooter or Tronodon. I'd probably put on Tronodon. Cantrips turn 1. Ooh, this could be really good pressure. Two on board. Pretty happy to have a 3/3 blocker here. Just gonna tap to burn me for 1. Pumping my guy to 4 now is quite questionable. So I think I'd rather just take cards out of my opponent's hand, knowing I have a duress here too. Nice, so these are really good cards. So I'm going to take Unsubstantiate and then duress out the better card. And I've just taken all of the interaction out of my opponent's hand. This is like one of the best spells in his deck. So happy to block there. Anytime Tronodon trades up, it's a win. That card is just so good. And was really close to being in a lot of pain this game. I am on a clock. Putting Pride Malkin down there would have meant I'd hit for 2 in the air turn, but then I have no way to activate Tronodon. Life gain lands are coming in handy. So 5 damage a turn is enough to put the race in my favor. Goblin Wizardry, pretty sweet spell. Burn me for 2. This is definitely a game where bad deal is a bad deal. Pretty good. He has a strong deck. Goblin Wizardry, Experimental Overload. Both of these 2-drops are really great. Pretty great cards. Gonna keep doing 5 a turn. Hold back blockers. He's gonna have to start considering like quadra blocking, double or quadra blocking this, as I am getting him pretty close to lethal. Sergeant Deadly. 6 mana. Woo! He had it. Time for the feel-bads. So, that's interesting. He could have discounted this by 2 mana by tapping the mutts, but he wants them for blockers. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's a surrender. So he has 4 blockers. Troodon has trample. Anything with a counter on it has trample. What's the math here? So he could prevent... takes 3 if he blocks everything, so it's technically not lethal if I swing in with everything I have. So I'll do conservative blocks or attacks. He would survive at 1 life. He could prevent this, drop this down to 2 damage and take 1, take 2 and 1, 3 damage and go to 1 life. Which isn't a lot better for him. He loses all of his creatures on board. So he dies to this currently. Boom. Trample. People often forget that Pride Malkin gives creatures trample. It's part of the reason that the card is so amazing, is that it enables trample. I've seen people play like 5 Pride Malkins with 0 Troodons in the deck. Which is kind of nutty. Alright, moving up the ladder. Getting that value. Pretty good stuff. If you don't like your opening hand, you can mulligan. Magic. How bitty. Okay. Nothing bad about this hand. Nothing at all. What a cute sword. So dropping Pride Malkin, I open myself up to Pestilent Haze. Which is quite an effective card against Lesnia. One flyer. Mr. Jupiter. But the aggression that I get by attacking with a 4/4 this early is just insane. I think I'd be giving up too much to not have this tempo play. It's got a 4/3. So unfortunately I can't play Garruk this turn. And I don't have double black to cast Pestilent. Idle. Wow, that's a good card. Little sneak peek at my opponent's hand. Trading this for the 4/3 isn't terrible. It's really not that bad, and it means he has one fewer creatures to pump with this guy. And I'm winning on life total. I think I will do this. So having no reach in that flyer in play is going to make using Garrick effectively a problem. Huh. This is interesting. So I can turn Troodon into a 7/7 trampler right now. But then I lose on the swing back. Or I just pump the Kite Sail Freebooter and keep good blockers back.
They're a stampede of one.
So I'm gonna start taking loyalty damage every turn, but I leave up good blocks this way. Ooh. Okay, that's not really good for him. Attacking me directly? Attacking me directly. I'll take 8. Kill off his guy. So now in the swing back, I'm quite vulnerable. It's getting to the point where I do want a blocker in the air. Pestilent Haze kills off a bunch of his guys, but gives him back that card, which is pretty good for him. The other option, I can capture a sphere down whatever his strongest creature is on the swing back. Plussing Troodon is threatening lethal in 2 turns.
Out of our way.
So he takes 7. I can capture a sphere. The battalion, so he doesn't get pumps on his combat step. Because he'll be pumping 2 creatures in the air, which is the scary part of this. And then he hits for 3 damage. And I should have lethal on the swing back. So before attackers, he's gone to combat, so he can't move the sword around because it's sorcery speed. So he can hit me for 3, and I have... Actually, it hits me for 2, not even 3. I didn't expect that Garrick's possibility would be more valuable than his minus, but when games are this aggressive, it's very often racing your opponent. I'll let 2 go through and take the trade. I'm still not out of the woods. There's a lot I lose to. Oh, that's good. So if he has a kill spell in hand for this guy, That's basically going to be game. Cool thing is I can pump Freebooter and then -2 his board. And he has 3 damage of blocks. So I force blocks both of these creatures. Oh, they no longer have trample. He can prevent 5 and attacking with 7. +3, 7, prevent 3. Takes 4, survives at 1 life. And I take 3 in the air on the swing back. I definitely don't want to attack with Kitesail Freebooter.
They're a stampede of one.
Like he blocks there, he takes 5 and loses. He blocks here, he survives. So actually that's lethal, right? It's 1 Pegasus. If he blocks here, he takes 5, he dies. If he blocks here, he takes lethal. So 2 damage on the swing back. He's acting like he has something in hand. I don't know if he's just GGing me prematurely or if he's conceding defeat. There we go. So I had Titanic Growth. I needed to hold back the blocker in the air. And then I would have won. I couldn't have killed him on that turn. What I forgot about was the life gain on his the 2-drop. I totally forgot that gain life. So if I hold back the flyer as a blocker, he still... he could block with the 2/2. It all depended if the Pegasus died or not. Because if the Pegasus doesn't die, then I probably block there, and he wins with the 2 evasive creatures. So it would have been a very different game. I don't know what his blocks would have been if I had held back 1 attacker. But pretty good overall.